Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashata Deshatarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Kupika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Namo Brahmana Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Te Namaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vindike Jaya Jaya Rashtrakuti Shri Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So, to start from section 3. Okay. Can view my screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Oh, 1 second. Okay. Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. So today we are at chapter 4, part 2. Let's bear obeisances to Sri Sri Radha Govinda. So yesterday we saw section 1, knowledge about Krishna transcendental, like how Krishna's birth and activities are all transcendental and what is the benefit of knowing and who can attain Krishna, like only when Vita, Raga and Bhaya. So the attachment, one who is free from attachment and Raga is attachment, Vita, the attachment, anger and greed. So these things we should not have if we have to approach Krishna. And then section 2, we saw that Krishna as a goal of all paths and the creator of Varnashrama Dharma, the 4 dharmas that Krishna has created based on the quality and guna karma and the activities. And also he says how Krishna, how he is reciprocate. So today's section, Karma Yoga, Karmano Hyapi Buddhavyam And section 4 deals with sacrifices lead to transcendental knowledge. And Jnana, Yajna, Parantapa. So different types of sacrifices Krishna explains there. And section 5 deals with summary of transcendental knowledge, Tadvidhi Pranipati, the process of learning from a spiritual master. Understanding karma on the platform of Jnana. So, and then removing action. Transcendental knowledge helps one to clear up philosophical doubt. Also helps to clear up karmic bank balance, which burns the karma. So when somebody is not engaged in fruitive activities, then there won't be any karma for him. Karma is a universal law of nature. For every action, there is a reaction. Whether it is a punya, pious karma, or a bad karma, both there is a reaction. Bad karma is obviously undesirable, and Krishna explains that even good karma should be avoided. Because even that also has, Krishna says that we cannot act independently. We have to, because both karma accrue the reaction. Beyond good and bad is the spiritual level, no action and reaction. So that is called as akarma. So any work done in devotional service, directly in service of God, is akarma. Understanding karma on platform of jnana, nishkama karma. So there are 3 types of action: action, forbidden action, and inaction. So that is can be called as karma. So karma is actions which are performed in terms of one's prescribed duties, as mentioned in revealed scripture. Basically following the varnashrama dharma. So based on whatever the caste the person belongs to, based on his quality and activities, that dharma he has to follow. Then that is pious deed. So by doing that pious deed, what will be the destination of someone who does karma as per the scriptures? What will be the destination of this person?
Mataji, the person will get purified.
Yeah, and where will he go after his death?
And to the planet of Godhead.
No, that is akarma.
Spiritual world?
That is akarma. For karma, who is doing the varnashrama dharma, following the principles, like for Arjuna, Krishna says that you follow as a kshatriya, you have to fight.
Heaven?
So
Yeah,
he can go to, so he can go to heaven, no? The higher planets, the karma. So whoever he says that, right? So either if you die, you can go to heaven. Krishna says that, or what? And then if you win, you get that. So that is karma, because he is on platform of varnashrama dharma. Krishna is speaking to Arjuna. And vikarma means action which are performed by the misuse of one's freedom, which direct one to the lower life. So basically not following as per the scripture, whimsically following, and also doing bad karmas. So this will lead to take birth in lower species or in a hellish planet. So that is vikarma. This is abandoned, which is not approved by scriptures. And what is akarma? Actions which free one from cycle of birth and death. So basically, this is direct. In 12th chapter we see, right, how different karmas, different yogas. So basically, till nishkama karma yoga, ananya bhakti, sadhana bhakti, and nishkama karma yoga. So all that, any of that, if we do, that will lead us to purify us, and we will not have to come back to this material world. So law of nature, for every action, there is an opposite and equal reaction. Kim karma kima karmeti kavayopyatra mohitaha tatte karma pravakshyami yajnatva mokshase shubhat. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action, what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. So it is not easy, because even Arjuna, he was a great warrior, but then he also, what did he think? maybe taking sannyasa was the highest. No, he thought, but then Krishna gives him the example of how the great souls, like the Janaka Maharaj. So he gives in the chapter 3, no, the examples of people. So how being in the society and doing their work as per Varnashrama Dharma also. I mean, they gave up the fruit of action. So just like this lotus leaf, how being in water, it is untouched by water. So just like that, not expecting on the fruit of action, they worked, because that is what Krishna wanted. So Krishna is trying to tell that if he works, understand that and work in that detached spirit, being a Kshatriya, fight without expecting the fruit or leaving the result to Krishna, then he can attain. Then he can attain the. He can overcome all the miseries. It's just like both. So in the war, both Arjuna and Duryodhan both fought, but then Arjuna was purely fighting for Krishna's satisfaction, but Duryodhana was doing for his own sense gratification out of greediness, of acquiring more. So there is a karma bandhana for Duryodhana, but then for Arjuna it is not there, because he did for Krishna. Karmano hyapi bodhavyam bodhavyam cha vikarmanah akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gatihi. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. So, so Krishna says that intricacies of karma is very difficult to understand. So we will understand with one story here. It is story of Brahmana and a butcher. So once what happens, there was a Brahmana in the village. So he was living in a small hermitage. And then there he was taking bath in the river, and there suddenly one cow comes inside his hermitage. And in some time there a butcher comes, and he's obviously why is a butcher looking for it? To kill it. So then he has a sword in his hand, and then he comes out searching for the cow. And then he asked Brahmana that, did you any chance you saw any cow coming in? Then the Brahmana thinks, what do I do? Because I'm a Brahmana, I'm not supposed to tell lie. So I think I should tell. Then he just shows his hand that side. It went that side. He just makes a signal. And then we know what will be the fate of that cow. Obviously, he will kill the cow. So that was happened. After that, what happened? In next life, again, because he told the truth, the Brahmana was born as again Brahmana only. He born as Brahmana. And then that Brahmana, he was going to from one city to another city. And one place, it was very dark. It became late. And he went to one house, and he said that he would sleep in a veranda outside. And then the lady of the house, she agrees, and then outside he sleeps. And midnight, that lady comes to him, and she says that my husband is sleeping, and you look very handsome. Let's enjoy. Then he says, no, what are you doing? You need to be chasteful to your husband, and you cannot do this. And as a Brahmana, it is my duty to advise you. So she gets bewildered, she gets angry, upset with him. And he says, wait, let me teach you a lesson. Then that lady goes in, and she takes a knife and kills her husband. And then he goes inside, and then he tries to take the knife out. Then we know, like, she shouts, and all the village people come in, and then they see that he's having in hand. But then by seeing Brahmana, they understand, they can't kill the Brahmana. What do? They chop off his hands, both the hands. And then the Brahmana was crying all the night. So what did I do? He was weeping, like, what mistake did I do that my hand got cut? He was not able to get the answer. But actually, what had happened was, in the next life, this Brahmana was the one because he had showed in the previous life the hand, right, to that the cow is that side. Because if you kill a cow, it is more sinful, but he is a party to it, no? So his hand got cut. And who is that husband who got killed? That was the butcher, because he had killed the cow. And who is that cow? Cow is the wife who was born as his wife. So we can you imagine like how the karma comes? So this is how. So we cannot never make out like how the karma can come to us, in what way we never know. I mean, it's very subtle thing. So vikarmis don't follow the Vedas. There is a risk of being degraded to lower species, not appreciated by saintly people, defeat the purpose of life. So this person is having a non-veg on his plate, right? So basically our human body is not designed for that. And actually even scientifically also, and even based on health also, it is not good. You cannot digest that. And it is also carries the consciousness of the animal. So when the animal, we know like how, if it is in a poultry farm, or if if the animal know that it is going to get killed, how terrific condition it will be. So that fear, that anxiety, so all that food will carry. That's why they say, no, the food we are what we eat. So the food carry the consciousness also, and also, yeah, and also it is sinful, because they are also just, Krishna says all living entities are my part and parcel, and I am the seed giving father. So it is not approved by Vedas. So what will happen? The mother nature will give a certain body which is suitable for person who wants to take it. Because Prabhupada says, the Shastra says that he can get a tiger body instead, because he can have a raw flesh. So not required, because human life is not for sense gratification. Just for my pleasure of my taste, I cannot kill an entity. So, and karmis follow the Vedas. So they do pious activity. They do as per all the sacrifices which are mentioned. So all the karma kanda activities that comes here. Attain Svarga. Also, they can attain a body of demigods. So eventually, but return to Matyaloka. Because Krishna says, Abrahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartinorjuna Mamupetya Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. So even if somebody goes to Brahmaloka, they have to come back. So what about the Svarga? It is and all below that. Highest is the Brahmaloka. So obviously they have to come. Whoever have to go back to Godhead, that is possible only from this earth, that is Matyaloka. And then Akarma. Akarma means have come to platform of devotional service. So Narada Muni, we know like how in the previous life he was a son of a maid servant, and then he became Narada Muni. So it is liberating. Devotional service is liberating. Know that fruitive activity binds and means rebirth. Karmanya karma yah pashet akarmani cha karma yah sabuddhiman manusyeshu sayukta kritsna karma krita. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is the transcendental position. He is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. So though the person is involved in so we can see the materialistic people. So if a materialistic person is seemingly he looks like he's working all the time, very busy, running here and there, but as per Gita, it is not a real action. It is inaction, because he's not taking care of the soul. But in the other way, if a devotee, he looks like he's not doing anything. When somebody is sitting in and doing chanting for hours, for other person, if the karmi, he may look at a devotee and he may feel that what is he doing? He's not working, simply sitting. So, but actually he is working. So that is action in inaction and inaction in action. So once Dhritarashtra, before the Mahabharata war, Vidura goes to Dhritarashtra and says that don't allow for this gambling match to happen. But then Dhritarashtra does not agree. And then he says, okay, So let me ask my son. And then he goes and asks his son. He advises that because he had to hear, Vidura was his minister and also brother. So he goes and he advises. And then Duryodhana say, no, if at all you force me, I'm going to take poison. And Dhritarashtra is now confused. Whom should I listen to? Obviously, he's very much attached to his son. He tells Vidura that he's saying like this with Duryodhana. And then Vidura says that let him take poison because he is going to ruin this kingdom otherwise. But then he does not agree. He says that, okay, I cannot tell him that. Anyways, I am surrounded by all good people. What bad can happen to me? Like that he speaks. So if at all, if destiny has decided, so that has to be happen, then we can't avoid it. Like that he says. So Vidura says that the consequences that comes that for this action, you're responsible. So then whatever punya we have done in the past, for that we may get, we will get in this life, we get a present, the good, nice body or beauty and maybe the riches, wealth, everything that is I'm getting because of some punya I have done in the past life, but or education, whatever. So, but then in whatever this birth, whatever my action is in my hand, I have that free will, and that will decide my next destiny. No? So Krishna says, Mate Sangostya Karmani in the 2.47. What is that shloka? 2.47. I'm not getting that shloka. Can somebody tell me what is this? Yes. Karmanyevadikarasye ma phaleshu kadachana. So you have only right to do your duty. Ma phaleshu kadachana, not for on the fruits. Karmanyevadikara ma karma phala heturbu mate sangostya. Yes. So ma karma phala heturbi. So that does not mean that you stop working. You cannot give up the work. And mate sangostya karmani. Ma karma phala heturbu mate sangostya. So, but do not get attached to inaction. So action is required when it is in our hand. So that's what Krishna is trying to tell here. Yasya sarve samarambaha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagnitakta karmanam tamahu panditam buddhaha. One is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be the worker for whom the reaction of work have been burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. So one who is not working for his sense desires. So this is called the stage of practice, like doing a, I think the next one. Yeah. Tyaktva karma pala sangam. Tyaktva karma pala sangam nityatrupto nirashayah karmanya vipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. Abandoning all attachment to the result of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kind of undertakings. So this will happen only when we take a shelter of spiritual master. So from him, we will be able to understand which is action and which is not action. So this is for a sadhana bhakta, aruruksha stage. So where practicing all the sadhana, whatever the spiritual master has told. So in that way, he will not be entangled in any kind of action, though he is engaged in all kind of action. Nirashiryata chittatma tyakta sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma kurvan napnoti kilvisham yadruchalabha santushtaha dvandvadito vimatsaraha samasiddhava siddhau cha kritvapi na nibhatyate. Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled. Give up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions and acts only for bare necessities of life. Thus, working, he is not affected by sinful reaction. He who is satisfied with gain which comes of his own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions. So the senses are completely controlled, and we know the example of the Goswamis. So all of them are mostly they belong to all the aristocratic families. I mean, very rich family, but then they gave up everything for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this 21 and to 23 speaks about the stage of perfection, how the Siddhas, how they have attained and how they have controlled their senses and not having any proprietorship on their possessions. So how Rupa Goswami, he gave up, he is not, he is satisfied with gain which comes on his own accord. So when he leaves his work, he gets a gold coin, boat full of gold coins, but then he used that for Krishna conscious work. 50% he used for Krishna consciousness, and 25% he gave it to his relatives, and 25% he used for his personal thing. And Nectar of Devotion also says that when a person is not attached to anything but accept everything in relation to Krishna, then that person is said to be situated in the platform of above possessiveness. He is not having any attachment. Anasaktasya vishayan yatarham upayunjatah nirbande Krishna sambande yukta vairagya muchyate. Yukta vairagya means there are two vairagya, no? One is falgu vairagya, means rejecting everything. But then rejecting the material thing, rejecting everything, thinking that to be material. But the Vaishnava sannyasis, they think it, they use even the material thing in the service of God, so that it also becomes spiritualized. So this is how there is a Shad Goswami Ashtakam. You can look into Google. So I mean, Prabhupada's favorite Ashtaka this is. So this fourth paragraph I have taken here. त्यक्त्वा तूर्णमशेषमण्डलपति श्रेणीं सदा तुच्छवत् भूत्वा दीनगणेशकौ करुणया कौपीनकन्ताश्रितौ गोपी भावरसामृताब्धिलहरी कल्लोलमग्नौ मुहुः वन्दे रूप सनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ. So what does it say? I offer my obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Dasa Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, who kicked off all association of aristocracy as insignificant. Even Raghunath Dasa Goswami his father was very rich. I mean, in those days, he was having, somewhere I read, it was 12 lakhs. I mean, just imagine, it is 500 years ago. He was paying just in taxes. So such rich, but then he gave up everything, and he was, see the next day it shows how they lived. In order to deliver the poor conditioned souls, they accepted loin cloth, treating themselves as mendicants. But they always merged in the ecstatic ocean of Gopi's love for Krishna and bathed always and repeatedly in the waves of that ocean. Such a simple life. We can see the kind of dress they are wearing. And also they were not sitting under the same tree every day, because that would also they may get attachment. So they would prefer to sit under different trees. So Gata Sangasya Muktasya Jnanavastita Chetasaha Yagnayacharata Karma Samagram Praviliyate. The work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagnau Brahmanahutam Brahmaivatena Gantavyam Brahmakarma Samadhina. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. So Krishna, what is he trying to tell here is, any activity, if it is done for God in whatever ashrama you are, it can be a sacrifice. So for Arjuna, even the fighting, like he's that the arrows that he uses, it can be ahuti, and yagna kund is the soldier's chest, is compared to the yagna kund. And in this way, he's saying you're also doing sacrifice. So Arjuna was actually performing a sacrifice while fighting the battle. So does not mean that he has to do a different sacrifice. So there are different sacrifices that also we will see in some time. Okay. So some examples here: working on one's own account and working on God's account. A cashier receives lakhs. So he receives or issues lakhs of on behalf of bank. The moment he steals a penny, he is arrested. So he does not get attached, no? Like the cashier, every day so much of cash comes and goes, but then he does not have any attachment to it. So, but then when the same thing, if he steals, then he is arrested, then the karma will come. Otherwise, there is no so much of, because he is working as a detached spirit. Or if somebody is a cashier and somebody, a thief, steals away, so there he does not get any anxiety because he is not attached to it. But in a way, if somebody else takes away my personal money which I was carrying, then I'll be in a anxiety. So, but then if we are working for Krishna, in duty, when he's attached, in a detached spirit, when he's doing, then there is no karma. So same thing, a soldier, he killing people in army is awarded as Paramavira Chakra. When he kills neighbor, he is arrested. So the same soldier, he's been awarded for killing. So killing is not actually bad, but for whom is he doing? If he's doing for a country, then it is awarded. But if the same soldier is killing his neighbor, then he's arrested. So Arjuna fighting for Dharma Yuddha on behalf of God, Duryodhana fighting for his own selfish plan. So that is the difference. Both are fighting, both are killing, but then a huge difference. Arjuna is fighting for Krishna. Unwinding and winding spool of a tape recorder. What is this? I'll come back to this. I don't have much idea. Okay. So the sacrifices lead to transcendental knowledge. Fruits of all kind of Vedic sacrifices is transcendental knowledge. This lead to liberation and ultimately to pure devotional service. So now we'll see the varieties of sacrifice which lead to transcendental knowledge are explained from Shloka 25 to 29. So the demigod worship, that is also kind of sacrifice. Sacrifices to Brahmana and hearing, process and senses in the fire of mental control, the unadulterated brahmacharis. So basically the brahmacharis, they have to control by senses. They should not engage, in things which can agitate the senses. So hearing process, the basic hearing more about the Lord. So in that way, that is also a sacrifice for them. Object of senses in the fire of fire of senses. This is for grihasthas. So Krishna says how a grihastha can do the sacrifice by restricting his sense gratification, controlling his senses. So putting the object of senses in the fire means whatever the sense gratification is, if he avoid that, that means he's giving that as a sacrifice, no, to the Lord. He's giving up those things which is attractive to him as a sense gratification thing. So giving up of that is also a sacrifice. So Ashtanga Yoga. So how Ashtanga Yogi, Patanjali Yoga system, in that offers the function of all senses and life breath as oblation into the fire of controlled mind. So his sacrifice is controlling the breath on the number of breath intake and outtake. That is the sacrifice for a person who is that Ashtanga Yogi. And the goal is to merge into existence, means that Brahman realization. No, he want to merge into the Brahman. So that for that that is his goal. And charity. So in charity, it is called Dravyamaya Yajna. Means all these charitable institutions, the old age homes, all this comes under, like also Prabhupada says, all rich merchants, they give lot of money for all this opening of Dharmashala, right? Annadana Kshetra and these things. So all these things and orphanage, old age homes, all this come in that is called as Dravyamaya Yagna. That is also a kind of sacrifice. And austerity, Tapomaya Yagna, Chaturmasya and Chandrayana. So in Chaturmasya also, the 4 months, recently it happened, no? The last 4 months. So people do austerity, giving up on every month. They give up 1 month, they don't take the greens. The other month they don't take urad dal, and they give up on milk and milk products, the curd and all that. So that is also a kind of sacrifice. Then yoga yagna, sacrifice for a certain perfection in material world. Example, Patanjali system for merging into existence into the absolute. Hatha yoga or Ashtanga yoga for particular perfection, and then going to holy pilgrimage. So all these are also considered as sacrifice in material world. And Swadhyaya means study of scriptures. It can be Upanishad, Vedanta Sutra, or Sankhya philosophy. So all this comes under Swadhyaya Yagna. So, and then last one, Hatha Yoga and Pranayama. So that's also kind of sacrifice. So sacrifice to demigod and Supreme Brahman. So primary divisions of sacrifices are sacrifice of worldly possessions, sacrifice in pursuit of transcendental knowledge. So giving up all the material desires or whatever possession one has. So that is one thing. And the other one is for gaining transcendental knowledge. And aim of sacrifices is one, but varieties differ. Different categories of sacrifice by different type of performance only specially demark the varieties. Factual aim of all sacrifice is to satisfy the Supreme Lord Vishnu, who is also known as Yagna, Yagneshwara. So basically all is aimed to satisfy Krishna only. Whatever austerity is done, or Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. No, Krishna says that whatever austerity you do, that will go to the beneficiary is Krishna only. So now comparison, demigod worshippers, comparison of various sacrifice. Demigod worshippers sacrifice material possessions for material enjoyment. So we know, right, they give up so many things, but then in expectation of something higher. That is also for sense gratification only. They worship demigods for various material benefit and are called Bahu Ishwaravadi, believers in many gods. And impersonalist, how do they do sacrifice? Sacrifice own self into fire altar of Supreme Brahman. They regard the forms of demigods as temporary, sacrifice their material designation, end their individual existence by merging into existence of Supreme. They become one with the Lord, that is their concept. Sacrifice their time in philosophical speculation. So that is also a sacrifice, Krishna says. But our Krishna conscious devotee is a perfect yogi or first class mystic yogi because he sacrificed all material possessions and own self for Krishna's satisfaction. Arjuna sacrifices everything for satisfaction of Krishna without losing his existence. So he does not lose, he does not want to become one with Krishna. But then for satisfaction of Krishna only, Arjuna takes up. So he is being in Krishna consciousness, the devotee is the highest because they don't do anything for themselves, but for the Lord. So material loop, how do we get trapped in the material loop? It's because of the ignorance. So ignorance is the main cause, no? And from ignorance comes the sinful life. So we have a material existence, again the ignorance and the cycle like this. So any sinful activity, the main reason why a person get engaged is because of ignorance. No? And then happiness without sacrifice. So nobody can be happy without sacrifice. Even Lord Brahma, he meditated for more than 1,000 years. I mean, in Devata's calculation, not our 1,000 years, in their calculation. So when Lord created the world, it was, I mean, when Brahma was born, it was very dark everywhere. And then he could hear just two words, ta, pa. And he was so clever. He is the first living entity and he's so clever. So he started meditating upon the Lord, right? So that yesterday I was telling you. So all sacrifices must, so he also did the sacrifice before he got the Lord. And only then Krishna was pleased and he comes and he gives him the knowledge to do the creation. All sacrifice must be performed with the knowledge of purpose and goal. With a proper understanding, we need to do the sacrifice, not without knowledge. All these performers who know the meaning of sacrifice become cleansed of sinful reaction, and having tasted the nectar of the results of sacrifice, they advance towards the supreme, eternal atmosphere. Nayam lokosti ajnanyasya ayagnasya kutonya kuru sattama. O best of Kuru dynasty, without sacrifice, one can never live happily on this planet or in this life. What then of the next? So it is required, very important for everyone to do some kind of sacrifice. So Hare Krishna Maha Mantra also, chanting the holy name, that is also a sacrifice. And taking the penance also, keeping a fasting, everything, that all those are sacrifice because we are doing that for pleasure of the Lord. All these different type of sacrifice are approved by Vedas, and all of them are born of different type of work. Knowing them as such, you will be liberated. O chastiser of enemy, the sacrifice performed in knowledge is better than the mere sacrifice of material possession. After all, O son of Pritha, all sacrifices of work culminate in transcendental knowledge. So, what Krishna is trying to tell here, so whatever yajna or the sacrifice that we perform, that has to be done with proper understanding. So to understand that, so there's three workers, okay, who are working on a construction site. And worker one, somebody goes and asks, okay, what are you doing here? And then he says, I'm building a wall. And they go to second person to ask, what are you doing? So the second worker says, I'm making a building. Okay. And then he goes to a third worker. And the third worker says that we are a temple is going to come up. I'm constructing a temple. So basically, who is having the proper understanding of his work? The third worker. No. So similarly, whatever we are doing, sacrifice. So Krishna says that you should have that knowledge, and than merely doing that, we should, in knowledge, one has to perform. Section 5 is the conclusion. How to achieve transcendental knowledge. The fruit of transcendental knowledge. Who can successfully achieve transcendental knowledge? The symptoms of one who has successfully applied transcendental knowledge to work, and conclusion. Tadvitti pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya vadeshyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So how one should approach a spiritual master? It is also not a, so when we ask questions to a spiritual master, it should not be like a either doubting or like a commanding way. So very humbly, submissively, you have to inquire, and also we have to render service to him. Only then, because he will tell us, he will be able to tell us that he will be able to give us the knowledge to come out of the, the misery from the material world. Because the self-realized soul, they have seen the truth. No, even Krishna has shown as an example, though he is the compiler of all Vedas, he still went to Gurukul, to Sandipani Muni, to show that one has to take a shelter of Guru. And it's not a simple thing, no. We want to go from one planet to other planet, from this planet, material planet, to a spiritual kingdom. Obviously, we need a help of a Guru. So rewards of transcendental knowledge obtained from spiritual master. He will obtain knowledge and realization that all living entities are part of Brahman. With such vision, one will never fall into illusion. So when he understands, realizes that everybody belongs to Krishna and Paramatma is there in all the living entities, then he comes to the platform of Brahman. And then with that vision, so a Brahmana, how he sees everyone on an equal platform. So he comes on an equal platform. So then he does not get bewildered by anything. So even if somebody is acting on different modes, different behavior, he understands that this person is acting because he's on the different modes is making him to act. But he personally is not doing anything. No, he's a pure soul. So that realization that person gets. That's possible only when we surrender to a spiritual master. Will cross over the ocean of miseries, even if you are the most sinful of all sinners. So Krishna says that you can cross over the miseries. The same thing Krishna also says many other places. Apichet suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak sadureva sa mantavya samyakeva stito hi saha. No? So even if somebody has engaged, or maybe sometimes possible you're into devotional service and sometimes you may fall down, but then still you are to be considered as sadhu, Krishna says. No, so similarly here, so that person who is in knowledge, he can cross over the ocean of miseries, of the secondary primary miseries and secondary miseries. So what are the primary and secondary miseries? Can someone tell me what are the primary miseries and secondary miseries?
Primary miseries: birth, old age, disease, death.
Yes. And what are secondary miseries?
Like Adhyatmik, Adibhautik, Adidaivik.
Yes, very good. Yes, those miseries we can come over, those miseries. So by knowledge of self and super soul and their relationship, one burns all sinful reactions. Because whoever takes surrender of Krishna, all the sinful reaction is burned. Krishna says in Brahma Samhita also that from Indra Gopa is the smallest insect. So from that to Indra, all the action, the sinful reaction, I will burn. Who has taken surrender to me. If they have taken shelter, then even we know, like even for Gajendra also, how Krishna delivered. Even that was an elephant. So it is possible, whoever takes shelter of Krishna, so he will burn all the sinful reaction. So achieve self-realization as the mature fruit of mysticism and finally gets devotional service. So devotional service is very difficult to get. And in Bhagavatam also states that Krishna will give the material desires also may be very easy, but to get service of, devotional service is directly serving the Lord. It's not easy to get, because if once Krishna accepts the devotee, then he becomes purchased in the hand of devotee. So Krishna don't want to do that. Means Krishna is compelled to do anything, whatever the devotee, he becomes like a so much compelled to do anything. So it is out of causeless mercy. So who can achieve the transcendental knowledge? One who has faith can acquire transcendental knowledge, and one who is free from doubts. So 39 and 40 shloka explain about that. So how about the faith? We can remember the story of Narada Muni, right? Being a son of a maid servant, the faith he put on the Bhakti Vedantist, how he served them with all humility, and then he took their prasad, and how he got the transcendental knowledge. Only with that mercy, no? Otherwise he would have not got. And also how Dhruv Maharaj got by Narad Muni. Tasmat agnana sambhutam hridstam gnana sinatmanaha chitvainam samshayam yogam atishtotishtha bharata. Therefore, the doubts which have arisen in your heart, out of ignorance, should be slashed by weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Arjuna, get up and fight. So now Krishna has explained all that. So no need to be in ignorance, thinking that by fighting, I'm going to kill my kith and kin. We'll be going to hell. And he says different things, Arjuna. So Those are all, Krishna says it is arise above, out of all those ignorance, and now fight. So, O Bharata, stand and fight. No sinful reaction can affect one who performs his duty with transcendental knowledge. So, having knowledge that I am working for Krishna, no sin can bind him. I mean, he will not have any karma bandhana, to say, for Arjuna. Slash with knowledge all doubts born of ignorance. With that, we completed this chapter. So, section we completed now, Karma Yoga. Sacrifices lead to transcendental knowledge. Summary of transcendental knowledge. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Are you all entering the sadhana form? And I think some Bhakti Vriksha groups are going to be formed. So please do join, because that's very much essential for you. The book reading will be there once in a week. Whichever time suitable, you please join. Okay. Have you all already got any groups, or is it yet to come?
Mataji, 3 of us are from Bhakti Vriksha group.
Okay. Which timing? Monday?
Wednesday, Thursday, 3 o'clock afternoon.
Okay. And what you are studying now? Bhagavad Gita?
Yes, Mataji, last chapter.
Oh, last chapter.
Yes, because already we have.
We are
listened
repeating
Bhagavad
level 2 for the
Gita.
second
We are
time.
repeating.
Oh, acha. Okay. Okay, great. So, okay. So that means you have already come to our 18th chapter. Very nice. So please others also. So take inspiration from them. So once it is start, I think it is so beneficial, no? When you are reading in a group. Otherwise,
Yes, Mataji.
alone it is very difficult. And you have discussions and somebody summarizes or anything, or you just reading?
No, Mataji, just reading.
Okay.
If you have any doubts, just discussion is there. That's it.
Okay. So you are like same in level 2, or anybody seniors are there, or
No, Mataji.
no? How many people are there in your group?
From our group, we are only 6 of us. In here, we are 3 of us from that.
Okay, understood. Okay. So others, did you get any group link invitation or anything for Bhakti Vriksha? I saw a message today, and yeah.
No, Mataji.
Not yet. Okay. It will be formed. Please do join, all of you, whichever time is suitable for you. And somebody is staying abroad also. I think for them also, whichever time suitable, you can join. And please do fill the sadhana form every week. Just takes 2 minutes. No, please do send. Yes. Any questions?
Form is which you have given link, Mataji, isn't it?
Yeah, not me. I think Chaitali Mataji has posted for sadhana to be posted within 7 o'clock. Something I was seeing every week. I think weekly submission. There's some time. They give 1 week time for you. So let me check. What was it?
It asks for the name, details.
Yeah, the same thing. But what was
And,
the deadline? I don't know about the deadline.
On every class day, both the days I fill up those forms.
Okay.
During the
Whenever
class,
they
she has posted
submit, just
Mataji.
see. Huh? I was just
During the
seeing
class,
this.
she has joined the chat and she has posted Mataji. So we have submitted then itself.
Okay, that
Yeah,
time
after
only you
that,
submitted.
yeah. Last week we did not receive, and even yesterday also we did not see the form in the chat.
Okay. So it said it submit by 25th. Okay, but that is today. So when was this? I think.
Mataji, do we have to submit also? We are already chanting 20 rounds initiated.
Yes, Mataji, please submit because you are attending the class, no? Submit.
No, but they have saying 8 rounds, 6 rounds, but we are chanting more rounds. So how to fill that?
Oh, you
There
don't
is
have
option
option for
16 plus round, Mataji.
Yeah.
There is option. Last option is 16 plus round. They can
Yeah,
fill out the 16 plus round.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay, then is there any questions? Otherwise, we can go to the shloka.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah.
Yes. Mataji, what is the philosophy of Vivekananda?
Vivekananda. So I think they don't, that is Mayawadi philosophy, I believe, right? They don't believe in the form of the Lord, no? Somebody, yeah. I think it's Mayawadi philosophy, Mataji, what they believe is.
It is Advaita Vedanta.
Huh? Yeah,
It
Advaita
is
Vedanta.
Advaita Vedanta.
Yeah, Advaita
Mataji,
Vedanta means.
it's a neo Advaita Vedanta. They have formed a new concept.
Okay. Yeah. Because ISKCON is a Dvaita philosophy, no? God is separate, we are separate soul. But yeah, that is different. That is what we call as Mayawadi philosophy. Believing like merging with God. But that is not there in Shastras. And Krishna also has not approved that.
His divinity is within you.
Yeah, because they say like, I am God, you are God. And we have forgot because we have come to this material world, and because of Maya, you have forgot your identity.
You identify, the soul identifies itself with the body.
Yeah. So, but actually you cannot get merged with the Lord. So, yeah. Then Prabhupada had that these discussions come in, you can read this book, Science of Self-Realization book, where there's a very nice discussions regarding this. So with some doctor, I think, Prabhupada has a discussion who was a believer of that Dvaita. So not Dvaita, the Advaita or the impersonalism, that person. So it said like, how can, so that means Prabhupada says, that means you say that Maya is stronger than Krishna. How is that possible? Means you forget you are a God and you forget because of Maya. How is that possible? But when Krishna comes, Krishna never forgot. How is Maya couldn't influence Krishna, no? When Krishna came, how can we get influenced? So we should understand that we are different. We are, living entity is different from the Lord. Cannot be same. Yes. Hare Krishna. Okay. Is there any other questions?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, Ronak. Yes.
Mataji, what should we do when we don't feel chant? We don't feel willing to chant. We don't will to chant. What should we do in that situation?
Means how many rounds are you chanting right now?
Mataji, 4 rounds.
Okay. What time are you chanting?
In morning, Mataji.
Early morning?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So basically see to it, what is that environment? Keep your environment, like you're taking bath morning in the fresh and
Yes,
then
Mataji.
chant.
Yes,
Try to see that, in the fresh mood, and also no distractions, right? So if you're not getting mood, maybe when you can, it's a practice. It will not, because we don't have a taste for it. Now, as a rule, even if you like or not, just try to concentrate, try to hear the sound, and you can do the chant. But for now, we don't, because I think most of us, not everyone will be doing the pure chanting. All of us do because as a rule, no, Prabhupada has given 16 round, you have to do it. But then gradually you will get that taste. Don't worry, okay? So
Yes,
slowly you can, you will get it. Nothing to worry like that.
Mataji, in morning I'm willing to chant, but when I return from the university, I become so tired that I'm not willing to chant at that time.
Yeah, evening it is difficult, no? It is,
Yes,
that is why it is better to do it in the morning. Try to finish your rounds in the morning.
Okay,
and the other time maybe you can listen to the music, Hare Krishna mantra, something like that.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. There's a link for submission. 1 second. I saw Mataji somewhere in the group. Can someone post here the link for Mataji? I just saw it went somewhere. Yes, this is the link, no? Yeah. I just posted, Mataji, the link. Okay, we'll go to the shloka. Are you all practicing or we are just going to the shlokas? Are you
Mataji,
all
we are practicing.
Practicing? Okay. Please do practice, otherwise no point just going to the next shlokas. So yesterday, which was 30 and 40 we did? Yeah. So today 41 and 44. Oh, I made to post, no? Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Devaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 41. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi.
Vyavasayatmika buddhi.
Yekeha kurunandana.
Ekeha kurunandana.
Bahushaka hyanantascha.
Bahushaka hyanantacha.
Buddhayo vyavasayinam.
Buddhayo vyavasayinam.
Vyavasayatmika buddhihi.
Vyavasayatmika buddhi.
Vyavasayatmika buddhihi.
Vyavasayatmika buddhir.
Ekeha kurunandana.
Ekeha kurunandana.
Ekeha kurunandana.
Ekeha kurunandana.
Bahushaka hyanantascha.
Bahushaka hyanantacha.
Bahushaka hyanantascha.
Bahushaka hyanantacha.
Buddhayo vyavasayinam.
Buddhayo vyavasayinam.
Buddhayo vyavasayinam.
Buddhayo vyavasayinam.
Vyavasayatmika buddhihi.
Vyavasayatmika buddhir.
See, it is buddhihi, not buddhir. Here you can see buddhihi is the word. So when it becomes a sandhi, buddhi and ekeha together, so that rakara has come. Actually, the word is buddhihi. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi.
Vyavasayatmika buddhi.
Ekeha kurunandana.
Ekeha kurunandana.
Bahushaka hyanantascha.
Bahushaka hyanantacha.
Buddhayo vyavasayinam.
Buddhayo vyavasayinam.
Can you read the synonyms and translation?
Vyavasayatmika, result in Krishna consciousness. Buddhihi, intelligence. Eka, only one. Iha, in this world. Kurunandana, O beloved child of the Kurus. Bahushaka, having various branches. He, indeed. Ananta, unlimited. Cha, also. Buddhaya, intelligence. Avasyayin,
Vyavasayinam.
of those who are not in Krishna consciousness. Translation: those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved
child of Kurus.
Beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched.
Okay. Will you read the shloka?
Yes, Mataji. Vyavasayatmika buddhi yekeha kurunandana bahushaka hyanantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam.
Okay, very good. Yes, others can try.
Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kurunandana bahusaka hyanantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam.
Very nice. Yes.
व्यवसायतात्मिका बुद्धिर व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः एकेह कुरुनन्दन बहुशाखा हि अनन्ता च बुद्धयो अव्यवसायिनाम्.
Okay, good. Yes, others.
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि एकेह कुरु नन्दन बहुशाखा ह्यनन्ताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम्. Hare
Very
Krishna.
nice. Hare Krishna. Yes, others.
व्यवसायात्मिक बुद्धिः एकेह कुरु नन्दन बहुशाखा हि अनन्तश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम्.
Okay, very nice. Hari Bol. Yes, others.
व्यवसायत्मिक बुद्धिः एकेह कुरु नन्दन बहुशाखा ह्यनन्ताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम्. हरे
Very
कृष्ण
nice.
माताजी.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि एकेह कुरु नन्दन बहुशाखायि अनन्ताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम्.
Okay, good. Yes. Anyone want?
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः एकेह कुरुनन्दन बहुशाखा ह्यन्तश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम्.
Very
Hare
nice.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Over. Done. We'll go to the next one. So 44, I think. No, this next is 41. We did no 44. So Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 44. Bhogaishvarya prasaktanam
भोगैश्वर्यप्रकस्तानाम्
भोगैश्वर्यप्रसक्तानां
भोगैश्वर्यप्रसक्तानाम्
भोगैश्वर्यप्रसक्तानां
भोगैश्वर्यप्रसक्तानाम्
तया परतचेतसां
तयापहर्त चेतसाम्
तया परतचेतसां
तया
अपहर्त चेतसाम्
तया परतचेतसां
तया
तयापहर्त चेतसाम्
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः
ये समाधौ न विधीयते
समाधौ न विधीयते
समाधौ न विधीयते
समाधौ न विधीयते
भोगैश्वर्यप्रसक्तानां
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 तया परतचेतसां
तयापहर्त चेतसाम्
तया परतचेतसां
तयापहर्त चेतसाम्
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः
व्यवसायात्मिका
बुद्धिः
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः
समाधौ न विधीयते
समाधौ न विधीयते
समाधौ न विधीयते
समाधौ न विधीयते.
Okay, read synonyms and translation. Someone?
Bhoga, to material enjoyment, Aishwarya and opulence, Prasaktanam, for those who are attached, Taya, by such things, Aprita Chetasam, bewildered in mind, Vyavasayatmika, fixed in determination, Buddhihi, devotional service to the Lord, Samadhav, in the control mind, Na, never, Vidhiyate, does take place. Translation: in the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place.
Okay, can read the shloka, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां तया परतचेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते. हरे
Very
कृष्ण.
nice. Hari Bol. Yes.
हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna.
भोगैश्वर्यप्रसक्तानां तया अपहर्ता चेतसाम् व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते.
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि समाधौ न विधीयते.
Okay, very good. Yes, others.
भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां दया प्रवृत्त सेदसां व्यवसायात्मिक बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते.
Very nice. Yes, Aruna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां दयापहत चेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधो न विधीयते.
Very good. Yes.
भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां दया परुत चेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधो न विधीयते. हरे कृष्ण माताजी.
Hare Krishna. Very nice. Yes.
भोगैश्वर्य
प्रसक्तानां तया परत चेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते.
Okay, very good.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां दयापूर्तचेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते.
Okay, very nice. Yes. Anyone?
भोगैश्वर्येण प्रसक्तानां तया परहत चेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधो न विधीयते.
Buddhihi.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah. First line, can you tell once again?
भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां तया परहत चेतसां.
Correct. Okay, good.
Thank you, Mataji.
Nice. Anyone left or done?
Yes, Mataji. भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां दयापहृत चेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते. हरे कृष्ण
Okay, very
माताजी.
nice. Hare Krishna. Anyone left? Yes, Mataji.
दया परत चेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि समाधौ न विधीयते.
Okay, very nice. Done? Okay. Okay, so then we close. We are done. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaः. Anantakoti Vaishnavadike Jainamacharya Rashtakoti Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna, we all can chant together 3 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so
Hare
much,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Rameshwar Naik Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everyone.